Hey YouTube, in one of my other videos when I, go off topic like I normally do, I wanted to really think about what Pokemon are safe and core breakers in this meta because everyone knows, yes, there's Drapions and then there's Gastrodons to beat in. I just put out a Vespiquen because that will beat the Gastrodon and it just feels like a big triangle or square of RPS of everything kind of beating each other. So I went through and I was looking at the Pokemon, I'm like, what actually has overall safety? And Mamoswine seem to core break a lot of things, right? You're ground, so you resist poison. You are ice, so you deal with the flyers, and just neutral in a lot of other matchups. So I'm like, okay, I'll use that. And then one of the other Pokemon I looked at is Spiritomb, and that thing is very, very safe and very strong. I think it is actually way better. Mamoswine was just a little glassy, not surprising. It's a second evolution, or like the third level, two evolutions, third level, however you say it. So it's very glassy, and my 15i attack IVs don't help that case, but it's like a low level. Whereas Spiritomb, there's not really the evolution, so it's just kind of higher level. So I found Spiritomb very, very strong. The moveset, Shadow Punch. Sorry, that should be Sucker Punch now. Sucker Punch and the Shadow Ball and Rock Tomb just seemed like a fantastic combo. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you how to use the team. I'm going to talk more about these two Pokemon, and then at the ending, I'll start doing some more of actual commentary on the battles. But you know how I do. I don't do that a ton like other channels do. Okay, so let's jump into it. This is like the toughest lead because Sucker Punch is resisted, but you still get to the Rock Tombs and you resist the poison. They're not using actually poison, they're using Ice Fang, which makes it okay, but that makes it like slower on the charge. Okay, Spiritomb and Mamoswine, let's talk about them and why they're so strong and why they're so safe. So the Ghost Dark typing is very interesting and it helps offset some weaknesses that are already pretty good. I find Ghost one of the strongest typings overall because you only have two weaknesses when you're Ghost. You only have a Dark weakness and a Ghost weakness. And usually when you are a Ghost Pokemon, you have Ghost type moves or sometimes Dark type moves, but Ghost type moves, and you can hit super effective against other Ghost Pokemon. So those matchups are a lot easier, and then Dark are usually tougher to deal with. So when you have a Pokemon that's also half Dark, yes, you pick up a couple additional weaknesses. Now you pick up a Fairy weakness, and you neutralize a couple of the resistances. So Ghost resists Bug, but Dark is super effective against Bugs, so we neutralize that. And then Ghost resists Fighting, but Dark is weak to Fighting, so you neutralize that. But on the other end, Ghost is no longer weak to Ghost because you now have the Dark to neutralize that. So it's a lot more kind of neutralization overall. So now you got like the Fighting weakness, and you got a Fairy weakness, and there are almost no Fighting. There's Lucario, which just was on one of my teams. And I'm going to showcase it. I think another one. I saw a subscriber in my Discord mention that they submitted maybe a member. I think it was Henry. So a member submitted a team of Lucario. So I will showcase that probably tomorrow or maybe sometime later this weekend. Maybe tomorrow. So with basically no fairies in this meta and like one maybe fighter. Yeah, probably the only fighter in this meta. It just has a ton of safety. Put on the fact that there are a couple Darks, like there are Drapion and the Drapion, Quillfish, and Overquill. But outside of that, everything else, you're basically hitting neutral to super effective with Sucker Punch, and Sucker Punch is already a dominant move. So when you have okay stats that you can take charge moves with a very strong same type attack bonus Sucker Punch that hits neutral in a lot of situations, and then you get to Rock Tomb and Shadow Ball, not the fastest to get to, 16. So it's on that sort of medium end there. When you get to the Shadow Balls and Rock Tomb, like both are hard-hitting moves, and the Rock Tomb lowers the attack. So it just seems like an extremely, extremely safe Pokemon. You have nice charge moves, nice coverage, great fast move, unique-ish typing that does well, and then overall your stats are pretty, like not amazing, but decent enough to play in this. So that's why I find Spiritomb is probably the safest Pokemon in this meta. And then there's Mamoswine. So same thing. There are not a lot of fighters. There's Lucario you gotta watch out for. And then there are, let me just confirm the weaknesses here. Just to make sure I didn't miss any weaknesses on Spiritomb. I'm pretty sure I didn't, but I just want to make sure before I go into Mamoswine here. Spiritomb's weaknesses are just fairy. Yeah, so just fairy, and then you double resist normal, psychic, and then you single resist poison. Actually, you single resist fighting, because I guess ghost double resist fighting. So ghost double resist fighting, dark takes super effective, so net single resist. So 4 resistances, 1 weakness, only fairy. Fantastic for the meta. And yeah, 121 attack, 146 defense, 104 stamina, 1845 overall, which is why it's like a good Pokemon, but not amazing stats, but a pretty good stats. And then you get to Mamoswine. And Mamoswine is terrible stats for the Great League. 136 attack, 87 defense, 137 stamina. So it already makes you a bit more glassy and a little more attack heavy, but that does not help with the Icicle Spears in my opinion. I'll go over that in a second. But you're only 1600 overall and you get to like level 16. So you do not take many charge moves here, and I noticed that. I think some of these losses you will see I take a charge move and it's just like, oh, that did way more than I wanted it to. So that's the bad. Typing Ground Ice has 5 weaknesses: Fighting, Fire, Grass, Steel, Water, and only 2 resistances: Electric and Poison. Now, based on what the meta is, there is, again, maybe 1 fire, 1 fighter. I have not even seen a Heatran yet, so pretty much no fire. You know, most of these grass, like Abomasnow has the potential to be a Razor Leafer, but I've not seen it with that. And the water moves are basically just the Aqua Tail spams on Drapion stuff. Now, unfortunately, because you're so glassy and you take super effective from it, those Aqua Tails do really add up, which is why I found it to be not as strong. In terms of moveset, you know, High Horsepower is a nice move. 60 energy for 120 damage. I often found myself just going double Icicle Spear though, which I don't even know if that's the right move. So Icicle Spear is 40 for 78. And here's the problem that I had with Mamoswine. I think if I probably went High Horse, I think I would play this differently if I was going to play it again. I think if I was going to play it again, I would focus on just landing more High Horsepower nukes. Because what you're going to see in a lot of these matchups, as you're going to see right here, the Icicle Spear just does not have the damage you need to do a lot. So they do end up shielding this one. So I'll get to another one here, but it's not going to take out. It's going to put it like maybe in the red. So the fact that you need to land basically 3 Icicle Spears, right? If you assume a shield, 1 shield, 2 Icicle Spears, but you don't have the bulk to take the moves that are coming your way, I just find a little more meta. Now, that being said, let's take a look at that meta. You have, if you look at the key wins and losses for Mamoswine in this cup, it has some really nice wins, right? You got those all the flyers that are very, very prevalent. There are 3 flyers that are right now. There's only like 12, 15 Pokemon in this meta that are strong, and 3 of them are flyers. And those 3 are everywhere. Drifblim, Vespiquen, Gliscor. And there we go. There's your Drifblim, right? So I found that right off the bat, having answers to those are very strong. You actually, it says you beat Spiritomb and you beat Gastrodon, which are again are 2 of the top meta Pokemon. Now, looks like bait required to bait Icicle Spear and land High Horsepower on Spiritomb. And I'm guessing that's probably the exact same with Gastrodon. Yep, bait and land. And that is the only problem with this Pokemon, and this goes back to the Icicle Spear issue. You're not going to one-shot anything with Icicle Spear. You need to land the High Horsepower. If the High Horsepower gets shielded, you're not going to get too many of them because it's 16-14, and you're too glassy to take moves so that you're just going to get outspammed, which really causes problems. So yeah, it says you actually have an even 500 matchup against Drapion. You beat Quillfish. You close loss against Dusknoir. Close loss against Abomasnow, and these are some of the top Pokemon. And then the ones you lose to, you're really not seeing. Like Empoleon, Lucario is the only one that's an obvious one, but like Bronzong, Toxicroak, Gallade, Frostlass, Bibarel, Samurott. I haven't seen any of these. The first Pokemon you're actually seeing that you lose to, the non-Shadow Abomasnow is 353, but the Shadow Abomasnow is 475. So it has a lot of play overall just based on the typing and the lack of the lack of answers to its typing in the current meta and its move set overall, but it is bait dependent and it is very glassy. So with that, I just find Spiritomb way safer in the meta. So as you can see, yes, I needed to burn a shield, but I got switch. I threw kind of blind here, and they maybe knew I was going to go Rock Tomb, so they do not shield, but that's okay, because I know I can just align. Unfortunately, I cannot get to the move just short. But if I hit that Shadow Ball, I'd probably be in the deep red by now. But lowering its attack to have a lowered Earth Power is not the worst case scenario. But they do lower my defense. Put them in Body Slam range, hopefully. Probably, actually, this probably will not take out. But they do shield, and now I'm starting to worry, like, okay, you just shielded this. Are you weak to Gastrodon in the back? Which is why I shield back and may catch your instant swap here. Yeah, I felt like I was reading something weak to Gastrodon in the back, and there it is. And here we go again. Icicle Spear is not going to be enough. I probably need to land a high horsepower. They do shield, but I have no shields. And the Aqua Tail from a Shadow Drapion is probably going to do this 70% that I am left. Yeah, with ease. And that's not surprising how glassy this Pokemon is. So if I was going to, if you're just looking for like safety in this meta, if maybe I'm going to play one more team. And if I just want to do like a super safe team, I haven't even used Drapion yet, but I just can go in against it a million times. I would use Drapion, Spiritomb, and then what would be a good third pairing? So you're weak to ground on Drapion. You don't really need to worry about weaknesses. Maybe darks. Other darks are going to cause you a bit of an issue. Like if you go against a Quillfish. Oh yeah, but you can kind of... Quillfish, you resist the poison. So that's kind of a neutralish matchup. And this is why I think both are so safe. Actually, why don't we just go to switches just to see what they recommend. Drapion and Spiritomb are in the top 5. That's not surprising. Sneasler. I have not tested Sneasler. Sneasler has a Shadow Claw. It's a glass cannon for starters. But Shadow Claw, Close Combat, Aerial Ace. So what's your typing? Poison, Fighting. So no same type attack bonus on Shadow Claw. But getting to those close combats pretty quickly. And you're weak to ground, flying. That makes you double weak to ground, because you're also poisoned. So you'd have to run like a Spiritomb, Drapion safe swap, try and draw out a Gastrodon, and then a Sneasler in the back. Although it says you beat Gastrodon in the even shield, even energy scenario, so you probably beat it in the energy advantage too. And then there's also like Quillfish. Again, if you think Drapion's safe, you can also just use Quillfish, because Quillfish is just a poor man's Drapion, right? So you could just do double weak in the back, Spiritomb lead, double weak in the back, 2 ground, either Sneasler, Quillfish, Drapion, some combo of that. Maybe I'll try that on my final team. I'll do one more team. Do I have a Sneasler built? I don't know if I have a Sneasler built, but maybe that's what I'll do. I'll do the Spiritomb lead, Drapion, and then a third. Hippowdon's up here. I haven't tried that. Hippowdon's actually ranked number 6 as a safe swap. I think it's going to be bait dependent, because I think you're landing probably a lot of Rock Weather Ball baits at 9 and then landing this Scorching Sand as a shadow version. So the Scorching Sands are really adding up. Yeah, so maybe bait dependent there. And then Glaze is another one I haven't tried. So again, there are like 15 to 20 Pokemon that are usable, but when you use them after a while, they will get boarded. But yeah, I think I'm maybe 1, maybe 2 more teams away from being done this cup. But I will definitely showcase any others you send my way, mixed with some Ultra Leagues that I have promised I'd get to, and I probably have showcased those maybe on the weekend. Maybe I do 2. We'll see. We'll see how many submissions I get. It will really be dependent on submissions. So here's the Gastrodon. Again, it feels safe. Sucker Punch. Body Slam is resisted. Land the Shadow Ball, which is huge. The Body Slam is resisted, so they kind of have to go Earth Power. So there we go. Yes, they used the shield, but I took it out. I still have half health. Here comes their Spiritomb. Just going to go Rock Tomb to lower the attack. And it is good chip, so even if they let it go, that's fine. But they do shield. So lowering the attack. And there we go. Took out the lead, grabbed the shield, took switch. It has half health left. And the Dusknoir. Dusknoir seems pretty good too. Every time I go against it, I'm just like, dang, this thing spams fast. And Mamoswine's so glassy that I have to respect anything coming here. A Dynamic Punch would have been super effective. So I get to the Icicle Spear. This obviously is enough to take out. And I'm close to another one here. And they shield, so now I will take out. Don't love that shield. And now the Spiritomb, they're going to have to throw or else I'm going to get to a move. And now the question is how much energy they have, because this will take me out. And it's, can they get to another move before me? The answer is no. I was one Mud Slap away from an Earth Power. So this will take out here for the win. And one more mirror match. Yeah. So Spiritomb seems to be pretty safe. Drapion seems safe. And then find a third that you either want to just have fun with or you think can work as a combo to those two. And I think that will help you just dominate this meta, quite honestly. Learn the matchups with these two. And go from there. So here we go. Go up to an Earth high horsepower. Maybe I should just start throwing high horsepower more. I'm going for the bait there. And again, does 50%, but high horsepower probably one-shots there. Yeah, probably definitely one-shots there. And now I'm shielding. So, yeah, I think if I was going to play Mamoswine again, I think you just start throwing those high horsepowers a lot more. But yeah, so I think this is the last battle. Let's see if this new Pokemon is posted yet. I know that there is a there you are. Lilligant? I'm guessing it's not posted in the rankings yet. Oh, it is. Oh my god. Oh, but this may be not the Hisui version. Let me just go to the battles to see if it's in the... Because this is what happened last time. I did Lilligant and then it's like, you're not looking at the Hisui one. And here we go. There is a difference. Is there though? So I'm guessing it's not good. Holy crap, this is garbage. Okay, but I'm still going to look at it because I think it's interesting to look at these new Pokemon. Oof. Ouch. Okay. I'll check it out tomorrow. So Hisui and Lilligant makes its debut in a flowery raid day. So it's a raid day, but it's more just want to cover this Pokemon. Is this Pokemon any good? Spoiler alert, no it is not. And if it is not, why is it not? And how can it get there, if anything? And I will go over that tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Maybe tomorrow afternoon. Before the Saturday raid. Yeah, before Saturday. Okay. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.